Welcome to Epic Geek Out, the only show on the internet whose favorite childhood game turned into movie had to be Twister. I'm your host, Rob.
I'm your host, Chad, and today we're talking about G.I. Joe Retaliation.
And like always, you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/epicgeekout. Also check out the website, www.epicgeekout.com.
Follow us over at Twitter at Epic Geek Out. It's so hard to say. And also check out or subscribe to our YouTube channel because then you'll get all the new episodes when they come out every Tuesday, Thursday.
But let's get into our review of G.I. Joe Retaliation. So G.I. Joe Retaliation is the second in the G.I. Joe series. This one is starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I guess Channing Tatum is in it. Bruce Willis is in it towards the end. Adrian Palicki, I believe I'm getting that right, of Friday Night Lights.
Yep.
Yeah, fame is in it. And so basically this is the story. We're continuing the saga of G.I. Joe. It's an action movie where Cobra Commander comes back and the G.I. Joes have to kind of rise up from a bad situation and, you know, do what they do best, which is kicking some butt. Chad, what do you think of the movie?
Yeah, so I liked a lot the first one. I won't say loved, but
I'll say that too. I liked the first one too. I think it was one of those movies.
Pleasantly surprised.
Low expectations going into it, you know, and
yeah,
enjoyed
and for
it.
what it was, I mean, it looked completely ridiculous. I was like, this is stupid. Why are they like Why do they look so fake? Like with the suits that they wore in the first one. But like tons of fun. Awesome action movie. Like that's the type of movie in comparison to last week when we reviewed Olympus Has Fallen, where that movie wasn't fun for me. Like it was an action movie, but it was so hollow and devoid of entertainment that I didn't like it. Whereas this is the same sort of type of movie where it's not meant to be a great story, a great plot, but the action was fun enough that kept me entertained throughout the movie, you know, and that's what I'm looking for from this type of movie, and it delivers on that. I mean, the plot is so stupid and ridiculous. Like crazy, but it's okay because like it's fun and the ninja stuff's cool. There's a lot of really fun action set piece moments, which is what you want. Like I want something that I've never seen before, and this delivers on that. A lot of like really stupid stuff throughout. Like Bruce Willis did not need to be in this at all. I mean, really, that he did not need to be in this movie, and they could have given him so much more cool stuff to do and to be a part of the story. But they didn't. Completely kind of ridiculous that The Rock was in it, but it's The Rock. He's cool.
Yeah.
But I just wish Channing Tatum was in it. I mean, I don't know the story behind that, whatever it was.
Well, and also an interesting thing, this movie, it was supposed to be released a while ago, and then they said that they went back and revisited it to bring, to post-convert it into 3D.
Yeah.
Though a lot of people were saying that they did it to add more Channing Tatum to the movie because they kind of,
Yeah, they did.
And it's in the preview, so sorry to I don't think it's a big spoiler, but
yeah. So I mean, all in all, like it was good. It was good in the fact that I had a good time with it, but in terms of the story, not so good. And like you could tell, like they didn't want to pay Joseph Gordon-Levitt to be in this, so they just gave Cobra Commander a really like mask that hit his face, so you wouldn't see him like in the first movie.
I don't think he wanted to be in it.
Yeah, it's
either,
probably it. But yeah, they're actually making another one. They've announced, which they said it about the second one and took them so long to make it. So who knows if it's actually going to pan out. Did pretty well in the theaters. But yeah, I mean, I can't say that I didn't like it, but it wasn't a good movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start my review by saying this is not a good movie, but you can find things to enjoy from it. I don't have a history of loving G.I. Joe. It wasn't a cartoon that I really loved. I mean, I don't think I had any of the figures really growing up or anything like that, so I don't have a love for the franchise. Any little like things that they throw in for the fans just goes right over my head. So I'm not really, by any means a fanboy of this to like it in any way. I didn't take any of the Easter eggs that I'm sure were hidden in the movie and like any really of the characters. I think The Rock is a action star to say the least. He can carry a movie, and he was definitely brought in to reboot the franchise and kind of get it started again with a new face, which I think they ended up regretting now that Channing Tatum's so famous. But there were definitely some enjoyable parts of this movie. by no means was that any of the dialogue that this movie had. The dialogue was,
laughable.
Some of the worst. I mean,
it's corny. It's corny.
It was filler, and then stupid lines, or just a lot of, talking about the plans, what's going on. I mean, it gave the audience no credit, but, hey, we were seeing a G.I. Joe movie. But some of the action scenes were fun and enjoyable. There's a cool set piece on the side of a mountain. There's just some all-around cool action scenes. And I think it was enough cool things intermixed with the crap that you got some enjoyment from the movie. So, again, we didn't see it in 3D, so we can't comment on the 3D aspect of it. But if you like G.I. Joe, you have a love for the old cartoons, go see the movie, because I'm sure you're going to pick up on a lot more things, and there is fun to be had. They did kind of just bring in new characters, and it's like, well, who are these people? Like, they didn't really give them any backstory whatsoever. Oh, we're supposed to care about them? Okay, let's care about them. And ridiculous.
Some people that we're talking to about that did love the show, actually said that Flint, the character who's kind of a secondary character in this, is actually like the leader in the show. So like they're confused why they didn't make The Rock the Flint character versus Roadblock, which I guess Roadblock sounds more like the Rock character because he is.
I think maybe
huge.
more looks like, and with the gun scene where he has the giant gun, which I know is like a character thing.
Yeah. So would you say it was worth the money? Because I would say it's worth the price of a ticket.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, and it's so funny because
that's, I guess, the best thing I could say about it.
I'm trying to compare it to like the other, the new Die Hard movie, Olympus Has Fallen. I think it's
better than that.
I think it's better than them. I mean, this was PG-13, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't, have the ridiculousness of both those movies.
More fun though.
Yeah, but I think it did have some more fun elements to it, and I think just the characters were more likable and more believable, even though unbelievable in its own, way.
Because at its heart, it's a superhero movie.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what it is.
Yeah,
so
it is.
If you like superhero movies, I mean, that's what you're gonna get. Some crazy action that doesn't make any sense, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And people need to stop putting, the bad guys need to stop putting self-destruct mechanisms on their master plans. Like, come on, man. What do you need that for?
Or having weird master plans.
At what point would you ever need to self-destruct your massive weapon that you're building? I don't get that.
Or they need to stop keeping supervillains who've killed thousands of people in holding cells. I mean, they escape eventually all the time.
Yeah.
But
so that was G.I. Joe. It's out now. Check it out if you're up for a good time. Not a great movie. Don't go into expecting that, but it's a lot of fun.
So it's that time of the episode where we like to give our thanks. Chad, what are you thankful for today?
So I'm a huge fan of productivity apps and productivity stuff. Lifehacker.com is an awesome site to go to check out kind of all this cool, they call life hacks. And there's an app that I just recently got, which I was on the waiting list for a month, I swear to God. But now Dropbox just acquired it, so they're rolling it out faster. It's called Mailbox, simple. But it's a email app for your iOS device. I'm not quite sure if it's out on Android. But I'm pretty sure it's just iOS at this point. But basically, it's a new way to kind of do email to kind of keep your inbox clean at all times. So you get an email, and you can either swipe really hard to the right to delete it, swipe a little bit to the right to archive it, swipe to the left to all the way to put it to a list, or swipe halfway to schedule it to return to your inbox at some point in time. So you could say tonight, tomorrow, 3 days from now. But it's just real easy, and the user interface is just really slick and easy to use.
Because it sounds very hard from
No, once you're used to it, you just swipe all the way. I want to delete that one. Do that. So it's really cool. It's getting a lot of buzz. It's like I said, Dropbox just acquired bought the company that made it. So now they're rolling it out faster. They were up to 500,000 reservations at one point when I got into the queue, and it's still at that point. And so it took me a while, but I got it, and I'm really liking it. So check it out. It's just called Mailbox. It's pretty easy to remember.
Cool. And the day we were filming this episode happens to be April Fool's Day. And so I'm going to give my thanks to April Fool's Day, because now combining that with the internet you get a day where you cannot believe a word of anything you read
anything.
while on the internet. I signed up for a couple classes a day on Coursera.org and noticed that they have an underwater basket weaving class that they're offering.
Nice.
I mean, obviously an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
Some of Redbox is now selling lunch meat. Netflix got in on the game and just did, like, instead of like suspenseful TV crime dramas, it's like people folding their arms and acting menacingly, and I just love it. I mean, honestly, it was a bit ridiculous at times, and have to know to take everything, you know,
with a grain of salt.
With a grain of salt, exactly. But some of the things that companies are doing, I think, are creative, and you know, the bacon-flavored mouthwash kind of sounded like a good idea to me. So, and you know, in the past, ThinkGeek.com, which I bought some cool Doctor Who things from, they released on April Fool's Day the Tauntaun sleeping bag, and then that actually turned into a product. So some of their things this year was Batman car markers with him next to gravestones.
That's so mean.
So mean.
Too soon.
But again, I think it's a fun day, you know, just to kind of laugh at, you know, other companies, you know, just doing some creative things. So
cool. Yeah, I love those things too. They're really fun. So thanks for watching this episode. Make sure you check back next week. We're going to have some more geeky goodness for you. So thanks again for watching, as always, and we'll see you next time.